Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and thank you for clicking on if you did today. So we're in a new year. It's 2025. I feel like 2025 just sounds like such an aesthetic year, so I hope we're all going to have a good one. But I thought I'd go through all the books I gave 5 stars in 2024. I gave 19 books 5 stars. That's absolutely ridiculous. I need to be more liberal with the ones I'm giving 5 stars because 19 5 stars is crazy when some people can't even get like 10. I have a lot of 5 stars. So what I'm going to do, I have some of them physically and some of them are on my Kindle, some of them were ARCs, but I'm going to go through the physical ones first and at the end we'll talk about the ones that I don't have physically. So without further ado, let's get in to my 5-star reads of 2024. This is the first pile. I'll grab the second pile then once I'm done with this. I'm not going in any particular order on like what I'd rate them and all that. Like I'm not going to go from number 19 to number 1 of how much I love them. These are just in random order, except for maybe 1 or 2 that will literally be my ride or dies top, and I actually just put them up there. Don't know if you saw that, just to keep them separate. But yeah, so the first is Redeeming Sins. Guys, everyone needs to read The Boys of Tommen. If you don't know, I'm from Cork. Boys of Tommen is set in Cork. One of the best series I've ever read. This is Joey and Aoife's story. This is the second book in Joey and Aoife's story. I absolutely love the first one. But the second one, there's just so much more depth to Joey. It's just, it's amazing. Amazing. You need to read it. I'm not going to spoil it. You need to read it. Joey the Hurler will always live rent-free in my brain. And then we have Daydream by Hannah Grace. I actually have 3 copies of this book. I have this one, I have the sprayed edges one from Waterstones and a signed one from Waterstones. Bought all of them before I even read this book. But it's 5 stars. Absolutely brilliant. Hallie and Henry, their relationship is brilliant. The way they communicate with each other. Then you get to see like the friend group, which is amazing. You get to see the friend group that you've seen throughout the other books. I just love it. I just love it. Next is Powerless by Lauren Roberts. Wasn't expecting this to be a 5 stars, I'm not going to lie, but it ended up being a 5 star, and like, I'm so excited for the rest of the series. I'm really, really excited to see how it goes because I haven't read Reckless yet, and Fearless comes out in April, so I'm really, really excited to see how it turns out. But at the end of Powerless is on such a cliffhanger. If you've been around for a while, if you've been on my Bookstagram or my book talk, you know this book. Call it what you want. I was lucky enough to receive this as an ARC because it was being re-released, traditionally published, I think. And so I read it as an ARC, bawled my eyes out, 5 stars. So then I was lucky enough to get a physical copy then when it came out as a physical copy. So I read it as an ARC and then got the physical copy, and I love it. I cannot wait to reread it, and because I want to start annotating this year, so I can't wait to reread it and annotate it and go through and highlight some of the quotes that made me really, like, that I just related so hard to. It was just beautiful, lads. Next, these 2. I'm going to call them together. Court of Mist and Fury and A Court of Wings and Ruin. I am in the minority. I preferred this to this. This is amazing. It's just a lot more spicy, smutty, you want to say. It's a beautiful book. It's a beautiful story. I love the way Sarah J. Maas writes. But this, for one who doesn't really go for like political fantasy because I feel like I'm not going to understand it. But boy, I did understand it and it was great. I absolutely loved it. And A Court of Silver Flames would be in here as well if I had finished it in time for the new year, which unfortunately I didn't. I literally finished it like the first week of January and it was a 5 star. It was my first book I read of 2025 and it was a 5 star. So I already have 1 5 star and we're only, how many days is it? We're 11 days in to the new year. So that's just telling you. Next is Taming 7. Absolutely love this. I talked about this in one of my videos, I think, about the story, why I gave it the rating I gave it, why I love it so much. So I'm not going to bore you with that here. If you want to go, you can go look at my books that if I had to move tomorrow, why I had to take them with me. This, you'll be able to see my whole more in depth of what I think of it in there. I'm just going to go grab the other pile because it's next to me down here. Ooh, books are heavy, lads. They really are. Next is Wildfire by Hannah Grace. This is the second one in the Maple Hill series. So Daydream is the third, Wildfire is the second. Loved it, absolutely loved it. There's just so much depth to Aurora and Russ. Like, on the surface, they seem like she seems very needy, he seems very broody. But then when you get into the depths as to why they are the way they are, lads, it's beautiful. Brilliant story. Brilliant story. And there's so much growth in it as well. And there's so much healing for both characters. Next is Terms and Condition by Lauren Asher. This is part of the Dreamland Billionaires series. So this is the second one. This is Declan and Iris' story. It's a marriage of convenience. It's grumpy sunshine for sure. He is a grumpy man, Declan is. But I absolutely loved him. And I love Iris. I love their relationship together. I love how he learned to grow and to learn to communicate more with her. And you need to read The Dreamland Billionaires. Wasn't a huge fan of the fine print. Loved this one. This was 5 stars. And then the third one, which follows Cal and Alana, I want to say. I could be wrong with that name. It definitely begins with an A. But that story was just too long for me. I feel like romances have a nice little sweet spot, and that just went over too much. If it had been a tiny bit shorter, it would have hit the 5 star. I think I gave it 4.5, and I think I gave the 5 print 5 stars when I read it, but looking back, I'd give it a 4. So yeah, that's my take on the Dreamland Billionaires. Then we have Icebreaker. This book, lads. I don't know what Hannah Grace put into this book. I don't know how Hannah Grace can write men the way she does, but it's amazing. Like, men written by women are just better, obviously, because we know what we want from men. But he is the king of communication. He is absolutely... There's no fight. He will just communicate. He just communicates with her so well. And now she's the one who doesn't communicate when it's normally the other way around. But yeah, absolutely brilliant. He's a hockey player. She is a figure skater. And yeah, it's just really good. The friendship group in this series is brilliant. I don't know if this is if Daydream was the finale for Maple Hills. I don't know who else we could follow, but I need more. I need more of Hannah Grace's writing. Absolutely amazing. 5 stars. Sable Peak by Daphne Perry. This is the finale of the Eden series. So there's Indigo Ridge, Juniper Hill, Garnet Flats, Jasper Vale and Crimson River. Personally, my favourites from this one, from the series, is Indigo Ridge. Juniper Hill is my absolute favourite. And then Crimson River I really enjoyed as well. Sable Peak I enjoyed too. It was 5 stars for me. The whole series overall was 5 stars for me. I think Garnet Flats and Jasper Vale I gave 4 stars and the rest I gave 5. This book follows Mateo and Vera, I want to say. Yeah, Vera. We meet Vera in Crimson River, and we obviously know Mateo the whole time because every single book follows a sibling of the Edens. There's 6 of them. 6? Yeah, 6. Just, if you haven't read the Edens already, you need to read the Edens. I don't want to talk too much about it because his story is kind of intertwined with throughout the other books, and so is Vera's, so I don't want to give too much away in case anyone listening to this has not read it. Then we're going into top 5 territory here in the physical books, but these are the top 5 overall, lads. Daisy Hates The Great Undoing by Jessa Hastings. This is one of my signed books by Jessa. Yay! Just, lads, you need to read Daisy Hates. I feel like no matter what, like this one, not so much the first one, but this one is absolutely amazing. You get to see so much depth to Julian. I don't even read it for Daisy and Christian, to be honest. I read it more for Julian. And Jessa Hastings has come out and said that Julian won't be getting his own book, which is really sad. I know it's Daisy's story and I know it's Magnolia's story, but Julian, you get to see so much more to him in this book. And it's just, if you haven't, you need to read Magnolia Parks. That's all I'm saying. Then we have Magnolia Parks, The Long Way Home. This is also signed by Jessa because I was lucky enough to meet her and she signed 3 of my books. So this book, is amazing. I'll just read the quote that's on the back of this book because it's obviously not a spoiler if it's on the blurb. I'll wear it like a badge of honour forever, that he loved me first, that he loved me at all. Have you ever had a love like that? Oh, I'm going to get upset. Ooh, such a good book, lads. Julian features a lot in this as well, which is another amazing part of the book. Magnolia Park's The Long Way Home is just brilliant, and it ends on such a cliffhanger, lads. You can actually read The Great Undoing and The Long Way Home in tandem with each other. I didn't. I read them separately, but you could read them in tandem with each other, and you'd be getting Julian's point of view of what's going on in The Great Undoing, and you'd be getting Magnolia and BJ's point of view in The Long Way Home, if that makes sense. But lads, this is amazing. These 3 books in the Magnolia Park series. If I could give them 1,000,000 stars, I would. Then last but certainly not least is Magnolia Park's Into the Dark. Now, Jessica kindly signed this one as well, and my quote's in this one, but I don't want to read the quote out in case it spoils anything. It doesn't really. No, it does. I'm not going to. I don't want to do that to anyone if they haven't read it. This is the finale in BJ and Magnolia's story. And what a finale it was, lads. Absolutely brilliant. I was lucky enough to read Magnolia Parks in January of 2024. And I was finished it by the time this came out. So I didn't have to wait at all for this. But now I have to wait for the next Daisy Hates. Which Jessa hasn't started. So I don't know when we're going to get one. But yeah, this literally, lads, this is one of the most amazing books I've ever written. I didn't write this. Jessa Hastings wrote this. This is one of the best books that's ever written. I'm not going to lie. Then, these are the last of the physical. And these are my Ride or Dies, my Holy Grails. And it should not come as a shock to anyone. Binding and Keeping 13. These are the first 2 in the Boys of Tommen series. They follow Joey and Shannon. That'd be a bit weird considering they're brother and sister, but yeah. They follow Johnny and Shannon. It was actually Johnny and Shannon's anniversary yesterday, because I'm filming this on the 11th of January. Yesterday was the 10th of January. That's when they meet in 2005, 20 years ago. These books, lads, they live rent-free in my head. I want them tattooed on my body. I cannot stop thinking about them, and it's mad because I put them off for so long because they're literally set where I live. So I was worried that the slang was going to annoy me, that like all that, but I just loved every bit of it. I have 3 copies of these. These are the American ones. These are the Bloom editions. I also have the indie print, and I have the standard UK print as well. But these, lads, I'm not going to spoil anything with these. He's a rugby player. They're in school together, and they meet, and it just follows their story from there. And if you read, is it in Binding 13? No. Did she change the... I don't know, did she change the dedication in these? Because I'm sure the dedication used to be... It was basically that how Chloe Walsh was saying what the Boys of Tommen boys were based on, because they were based on her group of friends growing up. And that she married her Johnny, basically. And it's just beautiful, lads. It's a great story. So then the ones that I read on my Kindle and I don't have physical copies of is After I Do by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Taylor Jenkins Reid has a great way of writing. Every book I've read by her, I think I've really enjoyed. It's been nothing below 3 stars anyway. Like Daisy Jones and the Six, Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Loved. After I Do is brilliant. It's a great story about what it's actually like after you get married. Now, I'm not married by any means, so I don't know. But I feel like every couple goes through this kind of period where you don't know whether you should be together. You've been together so long. Do you love each other? Do you not? And I'm not going to spoil the ending, but I cried lots of times and it was a 5-star for me. Next was an ARC that I was lucky enough to receive, which is The Favourites by... Sorry, I'm looking at my phone, it's behind the camera. By Lane Fargo. It's basically, this concept is so unique and so interesting. I've never seen anything like it. It's 2 figure skaters And it's their story about how they basically came from nothing to being these massive figure skaters, and their story and following them along through that. Lads, absolutely phenomenal. It's quite a long one. It's 464 pages. It'll be published. It's published this month. I can't remember what date it's published, but it's published this month. I read it in October last year. I'm so excited to get my physical copy of it because it's just brilliant. It's such a unique concept. I think it gives very, very much I, Tanya vibes, if you know about Tanya Harding and what happened with her in the figure skating world. So that was another one. And then the last one is Spiral, which is the second in the Off the Ice series by Balcabra. This book, I didn't expect to love it. I really, really didn't, because I enjoyed Collide, but it wasn't like anything crazy. I enjoyed it, but I didn't give it 5 stars. I think I gave it 4. So I requested it, not thinking I'd get it, because it's a really anticipated read for a lot of people. But I managed to get it, and I read it in October also, and it was, lads, Elias Westbrook, another king of communication, another king of acts of service. She is a ballerina and he is a hockey player, and that's all I'll give you. You need to just read it. It comes out January. It comes out this month, but I cannot remember what date. If I remember, I'll put the dates of the favourites and Spiral. I'll put them in at the end of this video when I'm editing, if I remember the dates. But yeah, that's my 19 5-star reads of 2024. That's a lot of 5-star reads, guys. I think with this year, I want to be really intentional with what I'm giving 5 stars. Like, I really feel like I have too many. So I feel like I want to be really intentional this year with what books I'm giving 5 stars, what books I'm rating, how I'm rating them, what I'm basing my ratings on. Because I feel like if it just incites any feeling in me, I give it a 5 star. But these are all books that I think about, remember quotes from. These are all the books that just live rent-free in my head. And I'm so excited for 2025 to find some new 5 stars. I've already found my first 5 star of the year, which is absolutely ridiculous, but couldn't not rate it 5 stars. But yeah, thank you for clicking on, and thank you for watching, and I hope you have a lovely day, lovely night, whenever it is you're watching this. And also let me know what, in terms of a recording and an upload schedule, what you guys would like to see, like how many uploads a week, what days of the week you think you'd like the uploads to be.